Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. We haven't done this for a while, have we? New orchids. One I've been after for a while, and that's Oliver's fault, because he had a really good one and talked about it, and I thought we'll put that one on the list. And it hasn't come up for a while, but it has now. And we have blooms on it. And it was sold as in bloom. I must admit, this is from Speciotic Plants on eBay, and this box is really flimsy. That's not the normal standards, but nonetheless the plants are packed well. And what have we got here? What we've got here is a load of wire. God, we do like that, I must admit. Right, so that's coming off. It's all very well having a plant hanging, but it doesn't really need 2 foot of wire out of the top of the plant. In fact, I'm just going to cut that wire off. I don't want it, and it's just going to get in the way of the unboxing, so we'll remove that straight away. Get that out of the way. Can you tell what it is yet? Right, now we do the battle of the... where did I put my scissors? I'm not very well organised today. Too early in the day. I wasn't expecting this box till much later in the day. I was given a time for the delivery, so I wasn't even watching out for the guy, but he's turned up early. Better than late or not at all, I suppose. Right. Here we have one Brassavola Little Stars. This one's been on, oh god, I've just seen what it's potted in as well. I've come across this quite frequently. It's obviously a supplier from non-EU countries, I'll state that. And strictly speaking, coming from a non-EU country, it shouldn't really arrive like this. So I'm not quite sure where these plants are coming from, but they may not be following the legal path, shall we say. Nonetheless, it's in it, and it will need to come out of it very quickly, because I don't like it. What it basically is it looks like pieces of actual coconut. So I know you can get a coconut husk type media, which I don't personally like, but the main reason I don't like it is it very rarely comes ready for use. It's got salt in it. It comes from a coastal area. I'm not going to bother getting that out now, but basically it's just been jammed in this net pot. It's going to lose some roots, but it's got to come out at some point. I just want to show you what it's in. And well, that'll come in useful. We'll keep that. But basically, this is just hard pieces of coconut, and they're wrapped around the plant, and they sit there and rot. And the massive roots that are inside don't last that long. I was just trying to break a bit so you can see what it is. So it's just pieces of what look like the actual a coconut in its wild state. I'm going to lose so many roots getting this off. And inside of there is some, what you call it, fertiliser, slow release fertiliser, which doesn't do orchids a lot of good. You get hot spots on your roots. Anyway, it's going to have to come off. We'll do that later. But it's nonetheless, the plant itself isn't bad, but it's going to have to grow some new roots. But it has, that's a new growth. And a new growth coming here. That's a new growth. And that's that's a relatively new growth. So it's got several leaves. It's heading off in this direction, it's heading off in this direction, and it's heading off in this direction, and possibly this direction too. So it's got many directions of growth, which is going to make deciding how to mount it a little difficult, but it's going on a mount. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that stuff. I really don't like that. The roots end up on the outside, which is good if you were going to leave it, but look at it, it's rotten. So it's got to come off, and in doing so, quite a lot of the roots will be lost. But what I'll do is give it a really good soak and get everything as wet as possible and see if I can tease some of it out and maintain some of the roots. That's not going to be easy, but that's a kitchen job, not a now job. Put that out the way somewhere and get this one out. Now I suspect this one's in bloom, but I suspect a lot of the blooms will be going over. So a lot are going to fall off, I suspect. It's a huge plant. It's a very large plant, and it's a mass of blooms, but many of these blooms are going over, so I don't know how long they're actually going to last once it comes out of its wrap. Oh, that was Brassavola Little Stars, which is a nice hybrid. At the moment I don't know what the parents are, but highly fragrant, attractive blooms, nice scented, typical Brassavola. Just one I've been after for a while. I think it was Celeb from TYC Orchids was talking about one, and the fragrance and everything, and I thought, well, we'll put that one on the list. Maybe one day. This was one of these I've been after. Look, oh, crikey, look at the massive new growths on this. Are you going to come out? We all love our sellotape too. It's putting it on, it's trying to get it off. And that is, it's been in the pot too long already. So that's probably going to have to come out of its pot as soon as possible. Now the stake that's in this pot was probably put in there for packing. I doubt if it's tied to the plant. So it should just let go. Sellotape. It should just pull out. I don't see it attached to the plant at all. It's often done for packing purposes to stop the... Right, now this is... I'm going to try and say it and then promptly say, and no it's not. It's an Oncidium, and it's ornithorhynchum. Ornithorhynchum. I think there's supposed to be an H in there actually. Chum. But it's not. This has got an interesting story, this plant. This was named from a drawing hundreds of years ago. Yeah? And it's maintained that name from this original drawing for donkey's years, almost forever, you'd say. But it was wrong. And the hand drawing, obviously just black and white, pencil drawing or pen or something like that, actually described a yellow Oncidium. So once this was discovered quite recently, this one had to have a new name because it's been named wrong for years and years and years. And its correct name isn't what it is on that tag, and I've forgotten what it was. I did look it up. But this is one of the parents, as far as I know, of the Twinkles. It is highly fragrant, very floriferous, and at the moment has loads of spikes, many of which have still got buds on. It's a tangled mess at the moment. These spikes will have to be teased out and allowed to arch away from the plant. But there's a new growth just fallen off, hanging over the edge of the pot. Tiny little new growth there. That was loose, so I didn't break it. But it has many new growths pushing out. Yeah. So it's a very strong plant, and I just hope it has a suitable root system to support it. It may lift out the pot. We might be lucky. But I suspect the roots are going to be poor. It's a mass of roots, most of which are old roots. I don't see many white roots in there at all. But with all those new growths, it has the potential. Chances are, yeah, that media's gone. So the roots are dying already, and with such a large plant, that's going to be a problem for the near future. The idea will be that underneath these new growths are going to be where the new roots come from. And if they don't get something decent to go into, they're going to fail, because they're not on the edge of the pot. So the first thing they're going to hit is broken down media, and it's solid. So they're not going to do very well. That needs repotting now, and more work. But anyway, it's a nice plant, but I don't think it's got a good root system to support it. Nonetheless, I've been after this one for a while, and where's my camera? Trouble is I can't see the screen, so if I poke the blooms near the camera, I don't know whether it's in focus or not, but you can see the twinkle in it. Well, it's the other way around actually. You can see where the twinkle gets its look from. Delicate pink, deep yellow centre, masses of very small blooms, and highly fragrant. It's where the twinkle gets its fragrance from and its appearance. So it's a good looking plant, but I know full well that it's not going to be a good root system. But nonetheless, it's going to have to come out of that pot. So there we go, 2 new plants. I'll put the proper names in the description, because as I said, that tag I know is wrong, and that little bit of history is quite interesting. The fact that an Oncidium could have been misnamed for hundreds of years. Since its first discovery and the first time it was described, what wasn't described was the colour. So although the appearance of this particular plant matched up okay, and the name stood for ages and ages, eventually it was found that the drawing described a yellow Oncidium. So it obviously couldn't be this one. So this pink one had to be given a new name. Name in the description, because I've forgotten it at the moment. So yeah, it's still referred to, as you can see, by its old name. It's had that name for hundreds of years. So yeah, a strange little bit of history with that one. Goes to show, doesn't it? They spend all their time renaming the stuff we know well, and something that's been around for all that time, they've just left it wrong all that time. Yeah. Anyway, nice plant. Neither of these two were hugely expensive as plants go. These were on sale at the show, and they were £25 at the show. I paid less than 20. Okay, there was £5 postage, but by adding the Brassavola in as well, that one only cost £2 to post. So £7 postage for 2 pretty good sized plants is not bad going at all, and very, very fast. Next day delivery, I didn't ask for that, that's what I got. Next day delivery, so it hasn't been in the post long, hasn't had time to suffer with any weather aspects or anything. Don't see any bugs. That's good. New plants look for bugs. But it does need repotting, unfortunately. It's been in that pot far too long. And we need to get some good new roots going so that these new growths will push on. They're the plant's future, these 3 here basically. That's going to be the main growth area. And maybe from some other parts of the plant as well. Does have, you know, the older pseudo bulbs are of good size here, and they haven't totally dropped their leaves yet. So literally every bulb on there has leaves, even the older ones. Yeah, okay, we'll get that out in the kitchen later today or tomorrow. I've got a lot of watering to do today, but nice plant nonetheless. Pleased with that. As I said, the packing and box itself, well, the packing's fine inside the box, nothing wrong with that, but the actual box itself is incredibly flimsy and was actually squashed in one place but didn't damage the plant. So anyway, see you next time. It's not very often I get new orchids nowadays, so it's going to take up a lot of space. Just as I'm trying to sort my space out, I go and get a big one. Never mind. The Brassavola will be mounted, so I've got plenty of that sort of space. It's the shelf space I'm short of. Nice plant though.